You know what it is? It is that time of the month once again where I get to go over the best, the worst, and the trashiest animes to come out of a specific year. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the top 5 worst animes to come out of 2023. I've already done this back in 2022, 2021, and 2020 respectively, and they're all in a compressed playlist for anyone who wishes to check them out. um, they are obviously going to be in the playlist section when you go to my YouTube page if you're interested in checking those out. But without further ado, let's get to talk about the worst animes of 2023. And like always, when it comes to doing a worst, best, or trashiest animes of a specific year, in this one we got a ton of honorable mentions for what I consider to be the worst of the worst when it comes to anime that came out 2023. And this one was, without a doubt, another special instance where not only was there obviously a lot of bad dog shit animes, but there are some undisgustingly what the hell did we just watch hentais that I wish to get over with these honorable mentions. So let's get into them. First honorable mention is Protocol Rain or Boku no Ame Iro Protocol. This one, honestly, pretty cool synopsis, but is unfortunately backed up with really stupid, really one-dimensional story, and is by a studio that we will talk about further into this list as to why I watched it in the first place. But more or less, this is just a story that's really forgettable. It's trying to be like the whole like yeah, this is my career in gaming. I'm gonna be the best in the world type of shit. It's just super boring, really generic, nothing more interesting to say. And as I've mentioned, this is another case of a show that wasted a lot of potential with some really great voice actors from the get go. And I'll leave it at that. Next, second season of Fruits of Evolution. Yeah, Fruits of Evolution, the first season, I've already talked about this pretty deep in length why this was super high up in my worst anime of 2021. The fact that they somehow had the gall to make us drop a season 2 of the show, despite how shitty and dog shit the first season was, is still mind boggling to me to this day. This was terrible. This is trash. 2 episodes deep into it, I did not get the humor. I did not get the sense of trying to sit through the show all over again. It was terrible. It was garbage, and I'll leave it at that. Next, Buta no Liver or Butarabe, the story of a man who turned into a pig. Now, this one is a special instance where we have a dude that got isekai as a pig. But even though, honestly, this could be at the number one spot, the reason this is in the honorable mentions is simply because there are actually some compelling moments where like the characters get to know each other to a degree, but the humor and the character dynamics are just super whack. They do not connect and gel with each other whatsoever. But I will give credit that there are some redeemable moments to the show. But would I recommend this show to anyone out of curiosity? Absolutely freaking not. It's just not good. I'll leave it at that. Next, the Cafe Terrans and its goddesses. Man, this show, I've said it once, I'll say it again with a show that's going in this format, but this is a quintessential quintuplets ripoff. I understand there's some people that will defend the show to this day, but look, I did not like the first season. I thought the characters in the show just once again did not gel well with each other. You have different personalities that are just like hitting each other left and right. And while the premise is really cool, it is really heartfelt, it's really hard to get invested in these characters when every character is just completely unlikable, unfortunately. Even the second season that would come out in 2024 just wasn't enough to get me interested. So, yeah, why bother with this show? This is not good. This is just going to be forgettable for many years to come. And that's what I'll say about the show. Alright, but next we're going to the hentai route. First one, Sleepless Nocturne, the animation. Whoo wee, man, this thing was terrible. But I will get say, this hentai isn't as terrible and as holy shit, what the fuck did I just watch? Like the first one. The first one that came out back in 2022 was much more shittier and fucked up and just all around like, ooh, that I had to watch the sequel to this that came out that year. And surprisingly, it's not bad, but also I wouldn't watch this show ever again. You honestly have to watch this once to get a good glimpse of what the fuck you're gonna be subjecting yourself to. I'm not going to talk about like what's in these 2 episodes because goddamn, I want to erase down my memory to this day. Next, though, 3 PC animation. This is a matter of what the fuck just happened. This was supposed to be a sequel to Masterpiece the Animation, which is a hentai that came out in 2019, and I understand this like everyone's this would be like every hentai dude's 10 out of 10 hentai. It's still really good, really respectable hentai. I rate it pretty high, of course. You know me. And the fact that we got a 3 piece announcement, I was definitely looking forward to it because obviously the first one was really good, really amazing. Definitely up there as like the top 5, maybe top 10 best hentais of all time. And 3 PC animation just completely and utterly destroyed what could have been a great hentai, to say the least. All right, and then finally to wrap up the last of the last, we have Goblin no Suana. This is without doubt the worst hentai of the year. I mean, look, to sum up this show in a nutshell, is essentially what would happen if Goblin Slayer went into the hentai route, and that's basically it. The show is not good. You have characters that are really stupid. The animation is just so goddamn subpar from Margin Label Studios, which is pretty disappointing given how far Margin Label Studios has really fallen at this point. This hentai is just not good. And surprisingly, this would have been my worst hentai of the year contender if it wasn't for another hentai with Nightmare Death Scythe. This one was terrible. I honestly think that this is not only the worst hentai of 2023, but possibly the worst hentai of all time as a result. This thing is just sick, mind bending, sickening, and just Disney. Like, you're going to get motion sickness when you're watching these 2 episodes, and I'm not even joking. The way they animated this show is so weird and out there to this day that I do not understand why the studio is going in this direction to this day from this point forward. Like, I don't get it. It's really weird. It's stupid. I don't like it. And finally, to wrap up our honorable mentions, we have Kamikatsu, Working for God in the Godless World. Yeah, this thing sucked. This is essentially another generic isekai anime. I only gave it 1 episode out of spite, and instantly it became one of the worst animes of the year. If I definitely watched all 12 episodes, I think this would have been number one. But I did not want to subject myself to 12 episodes of torture, so this is definitely in the honorable mentions. So that's it. All right, and with that being said, we're out of the honorable mentions. So let's go into the top 5 worst animes of 2023. At our number 5 spot, we have a show that's just so stupid, so fun bad. This show actually might come back again in my best trash anime of 2023, and that is The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses. Man, what a crazy, out there, and just what the fuck did I just watch show I've ever seen. This show really was able to keep the momentum of how this girl here just keeps forgetting her goddamn glasses. From waking up late to somehow breaking her glasses to losing her glasses at a park, losing her glasses on the train. It's so damn stupid. And you have the boyfriend here that is clearly attracted to her, and his Riz is about as dog shit level as Kazuya from Rent a Girlfriend. But my god, what really makes the show stand out the most is the animation that Gohan Studios goes. It is so like holy shit. The perspective of like certain characters is so stupid. It's so out there that it's like holy crap, we're getting too much of this shit that they would actually replicate this again in a future anime that I most likely will be talking about in a up and coming worst anime of 2025 video. But believe me, The Girl I Forgot Her Glasses was the show that really got me hooked onto wanting to watch this show and anything Go Hands from this point forward because, man, that animation goes hard in the worst way possible. And unironically, it does have a pretty bumping theme song, to say the least. So, yeah, I think this show is definitely in the running for worst anime of the year, but simultaneously, it is one of the best, trashiest animes I had to sit through when this came out, and it's still iconic to this day, unironically. But yeah, at the, from there though, we go into our number 4 spot. At number 4, we have a show simply called Tempo, or in this case, in the Japanese language, Temporu. Oh god, I don't even know if I spelled this right. Oh no. Let's see. Oh yes, Temporu. This show was really, without a doubt, one of the worst animes of the year, and there's a myriad of reasons why Temporu was placed much higher than what we've had in the honorable mentions. Because not only is it just following the same generic fan service cliche we've seen time and time again with these type of shows where it's about a dude who gets going to a different place and now he's surrounded by a bunch of beautiful, busty girls. And I gotta say, you would think that a person like that is like, okay, it's gonna be like a fun, trashy anime moment. But no, this has some of the worst voice acting I've heard in the past 5 years. I'm not even joking. To this day, the voice acting in the show is remarkably it's indescribable. It is indescribable to say the least. To this day, the main character of the show has without a doubt the worst voice acting for this guy right here. Like, trust me when I say this, you would think that when you look at this character, you're thinking that, oh yeah, you're getting like that cool, slick voice acting. No, he has like the deepest fucking voice ever that completely overshadows what this whole show is supposed to be about. On top of that, you also have characters in here that are just either dumb as shit or just they play a part in the story in the lore, but they never really connect to the very end. And then you also have some of the worst animation out there. Like, if you thought Nightmare Death Sight was fucking bad, wait till you get a little Temporu. This show has like some of the worst color schemes ever, some of the worst animation that is just so all over the place. This show just felt like a fucking joke, and maybe that's what I was trying to go for at the time. But man, I was not laughing at it. I was really throwing spitballs at it. This show was just not good when it came out, and honestly, this honestly could have made the top three if it wasn't for the fact that there were three other shows that somehow surpassed these two. So yeah, at our number three spot though, we have let's see what we have here. Oh yeah, I think it's that time. We have a show that I've already talked about not too long ago where I shared on the second season of the show of this year, and this show was also bad when it came out and no one gave two shits about it, but I decided to sit through it because I wanted to see what was all the hype surrounding this show in general. And that is the Vending Machine Isekai Season 1. Yeah, this show sucks. It still does. The fact that we still got a second season of the show to this day is still mind-boggling. And look, what can truly be said about the show that hasn't been said already? One of the worst isekais to come out the past 5 years. One of the worst ideas to ever come out of any anime. The fact that somehow got a second season when there are tons of other shows and like mangas that should be better adapted than this somehow not getting the anime treatment is mind-boggling. Again, I've talked about and shit on the show many times already from the second season. A lot of it is still carried over from the first season. I don't know how much more I can say to trash this show. This is terrible. This is bad. And the fact that this somehow got an anime adaptation in the first place is criminal because honestly, this show just stayed in the manga books where it should have stayed in the first place. But because we're living in that era now where every isekai needs to be generic and unique and interesting and make it be like, oh, now our main character is going to be reborn as a vending machine, or our main character is going to be reborn as a fucking sword, or a pig, or a cat, or a dog. And it's just like, come fucking on, man. Can we get something that's different for once and not just the same copy and paste formula, but your little difference is that, oh, the main character is now a vending machine. Like, come fucking on. And it just hasn't gotten better since then. And this show is really the reason we've been getting more of these generic ass shitty isekais to begin with. And I'll leave it at that. All right, but at our number two spot is a show that is super beloved by many hardcore anime fans. This is without doubt a show that I definitely loved. I definitely appreciated. This was during the Adult Swim era, but unfortunately, for some odd reason, somehow, some way, we keep getting more spin-offs, more seasons of this beloved franchise, and it's such a shame that the shows really came out that year because I really did give it a shot to see if it was even worth checking out. And 3 episodes, literally just only 3 episodes, it's not good. And I'm talking about Fooly Cooly. No, no, not the 2001 Fooly Cooly to be exact. I'm talking about Fooly Cooly Grunge. Fooly Cooly Grunge to come out back in 2023 is the most like, why did we even need this? Who asked for this? This is not even great to begin with. This is not even worth checking out. And also, to clarify this, it didn't pop up with Topster, so that's why it's on here. But moving on, Fooly Cooly Grunge, I don't understand to this day why this came out. Again, there was only 3 episodes, but these 3 episodes were just painfully awful to sit through. From an art style and animation that just isn't reminiscent of the OG Fooly Cooley from back in the day, to the fact that, like, honestly, realistically, the other spin-offs that came out from before, like Fooly Cooley Shoegaze and God, I don't even know how many different Fooly Cooleys there are at this point, but basically the other versions are much better than this. This is like taking a popular, well-known IP and just smashing it to the fucking ground, man. Even though it's only 3 episodes, even though each one is 24 minutes in length, it is just painfully hard to sit through. And this is just another reason why we need to leave this Fooly Cooly IP alone, man. The original from back in the 2000s was a classic. It is amazing. It is an influential anime that should never be touched in the first place. The reason why we've been getting more different versions of Fooly Cooly, I would never understand. But the original is great. It is amazing. And the fact that we got this dog shit anime is saying something, unfortunately. So yeah, before we move to our number one spot, I just want to say, leave Fooly Cooly alone. We don't need another season. If we get another season of the show a few years down the line from this point forward, I will just be losing my mind. I don't understand why we got this in the first place. I'll leave it at that. All right, but at the number one spot is a show that is super scarring, super PTSD inducing. That this is a show that I truly and early wish I can erase out of my memory. And again, I've watched a lot of really dog shit shows from the previous years, if you've seen my previous videos. But this show stood out at the number one spot because it not only takes up, it's not even not only taking up like everything that was wrong of the last 4 shows, but simultaneously, it's like what would happen if Vending Machine Isekai just went even lower than what it was. And of course, what I'm talking about, for anyone that I remember watching the worst anime of 2023, and God even specifically said this is the worst anime of 2023, is My Life as Inukai-san's Dog. Man, this is without a doubt one of the worst animes to come out. I don't even know where to start with this thing. Again, if you thought like a lot of the shitty hentais I've talked about up until this point were bad, you have not seen My Life as Inukai-san's Dog. Fair warning for anyone that's a dog lover here. You could probably mute this part out because there's a lot of things that happen in the show that I'm pretty sure you don't want to hear. But My Life as Inukai-san's Dog is essentially about a dude who wakes up one day and gets isekai'd into being a dog, but more specifically, Inukai-san's dog. And to sum up 12 episodes of this show, which again doesn't last that long, but it feels so painfully long. This is a show about a dog that goes through trials and tribulations of making sure that he just behaves like a normal dog and makes sure that he makes Inukai super happy, while simultaneously making sure that her friends and the love rival is in check. And again, there's a lot that happens in the show that I could go deep into, but I'm not gonna go deep into. My life is basically the dog itself is Pochita of all things. No, not Pochita from Chainsaw Man. Pochita, this dude right here. Pochita goes through a lot of things in this show that no fair dog should go through, from going to someone's chamber of secrets, as Scott put it, to bathing with an actual human being naked, to doing unspeakable things to make sure that Inukai is saved some fucking how. And it's not just Inukai, like you have also the typical yandere with Mike, the typical love rival again with Usagi. It is without a doubt the worst anime of the year. And what's even more crazy, just when you thought this was shitty, no, they somehow dropped an OVA. They dropped 2 more fucking episodes of this show to kind of just top off the cherry of this shit Sunday. And like I said from earlier from my honorable mentions, this definitely could have been. There is a show on here that is by Quad Studios, which I've already talked about, is responsible for the Protocol anime I mentioned. And like I said, the Protocol anime could have also been up here on this list, but My Life as Unicorn Sans Dog is 100 times worse than what we have seen up until this point. And yeah, there you go. There you have it. This is my top 5 worst animes of 2023. Outside of this of course. I mean, again, remember, this is in place of Fully Cooley Grunge, this dog shit show. But yeah, here it is. Top 5 worst animes of 2023. Weep it, reap it, seek it. And yeah, I'll wish to talk about this, and I'll see you all in the next one when I get to talk about the best trash anime of 2023. Later.